If you read 10 pages a day, this is 3,650 pages a year, which is about 12 books. Now think about it for a second. Every single story you read, every idea that you absorb, your brain thinks about it as a real experience. Now reading don't just give you stale information, but actually it changes the way that your mind works. Literally the best minds that ever walked the earth are condensing their ideas that they developed throughout their life into a single book that you can roughly read within a week. In this video, I want to show you how amazing and strong that is, into a point that it actually rewires your brain, and it will help you to either get started or read a ton more. Now, one of the most important parts for you to start reading more is to manage your dopamine level. And for us to start shifting realities, I want you to not look at any notifications during this time. Focus on this video full screen, and best case scenario, you take a notebook and you start writing down things that clicked for you. Let's talk about the first part, which is that reading is not about getting information. Anyone can get information. Information is everywhere. Reading is about getting another person's perspective and mindset through living from their experiences. When I was younger, until I was 23, I literally read 0 books. Not even at school. I hated the idea of reading a book. Every time I was going to literally open a page and I was reading the first 2 paragraphs, I was falling asleep. My brain wasn't able to stay there. And the reason is because I had dyslexia. Something clicked when I was 23 and I found that I can read a book through audio. For me, it was a revolutionary idea. It felt almost like cheating. Like someone else took their time to read the whole book, and now they are reading this to me like a nighttime story, like I'm a 5-year-old. I immediately fall in love reading one book here and there and just trying to use any net time, which is basically when I'm washing the dishes, driving, walking, any time that I'm already doing something with my body, I was trying to have something listening. Let's stop here for a second and let's ask a question to ourselves that most people don't ask. What is time? Time is only one thing for a human being, for you and I. Time is emotion, is actually a feeling, a way of looking at time, a way of feeling that gives you an emotional state. Was there times in your life that time didn't even exist? You were so in flow, so enthralled with what you were doing, that time wasn't even a thing within your vocabulary or your state of mind. In fact, at some point, this activity stopped. And you're like, where did that time went? I'm here for 4 hours doing this one activity and I didn't even realize. And is there also moments that a minute feels like an eternity? Like when you're in the DMV on any government place and you are there looking at your clock and you feel like your life slips by and you rethink all your life choices. What about when you are on a stupid Zoom meeting and you're thinking, if this fucking meeting goes for 1 more minute, I'm gonna kill somebody. Bottom line is that time is equal to emotion. Every one of us, we have 24 hours. And probably if you're here, you want to dedicate some of these hours on reading. But you're thinking that I don't have time for this. But how some of the most busy and successful people have plenty of time, and some of us, we walk around and we're constantly so stressed and we feel that we lack time. Swear to God, this is where I used to live. I keep feeling like I don't have time. Every day when I was in UK, I was keep running behind the clock, feeling all this scarcity of time. But everything changed for me when I realized that time is actually emotion. And what this means for you and me is that it's about your state and your emotional stability of you catching yourself and understanding that time is within your hand and you are able to use it and manipulate it emotionally instead of practically. Before, I was trying to solve time practically by doing more things or by running faster from activity to activity. But now I see time as my tool that I'm able to manipulate emotionally just by feeling present and be able to decide the one thing that is important within the day and using effectively my net time, no extra time, in order to read. Now that time is out of the way, I want you to understand that everything that you see in me, right now I'm 31 years old, is constructed by books. I started reading from 23 to 31 using no extra time and using my emotional stability in order to find time. And I see that everything that exists in my mindset comes from books. For example, Stoicism helped me to understand that I am the master of my emotions and the only thing that matters is what I feel internally and not what happens external to me. The 4-hour work week told me to go out from UK and go to Poland and experience life and start working smarter, not harder. Tony Robbins' books helped me to find the right relationship and to create the emotional maturity in order for me to have the right conversations and be with the love of my life. The Cold Start Problem and Hooked were books that taught me how to build an application and how to create network effects within my application in order to at some point sell my company. For you right now, you're not just a person. You are a collection of areas that you try to master. And as we discuss often on this channel, your goal is to grow your body, mind, and spirit. Now, all of us, we have something that I call the wheel of life. But before I tell you about that, I want you to comment what book you want to read, and also like and subscribe this video because this algorithm is fucking brutal and I want this message to go to more people and help you guys. So what is these 6 areas of life? 1 is master over your emotions. Then health, career and wealth, love and friends. Every one of these areas needs completely different skills and you can build these skills within books. For example, about wealth, I built it from Robert Kiyosaki, Poor Dad, Rich Dad. I know that this is old school right now, but this is how I started when I was like very young. And then I start going deeper, learning about taxes, learning about how to acquire wealth and how to grow wealth. For career, I read about building companies, building applications, and being a CTO. For health, I read about microbiome. For emotions, I read about Greek philosophy and Stoic philosophy. For love and relationship, I was reading about Tony, and about books about love, about women, how they are thinking, how to be a more supportive boyfriend, and about masculine and feminine energy. Massive. And about friendship, I'm not really focusing on this area, to be honest, at this point, so I'm not really reading books about that. So who I am right now is a collection of books, experiences that I got from other smarter people than me that literally collected all their life's work within one condensed book that I can listen within 7 days. One interesting fact is that your brain interacts the same exact way when you are reading and when you are experiencing. So your brain is already built to be able to retain this information through emotions, because the only way for you to retain and actually use this information is through emotional connection. For example, if I come right now and I teach you something but it's very boring and you're just there listening but at the same time scrolling on Instagram, you don't have enough emotional connection for me to make impact. But if you're fully focused and through my storytelling or through the connection that you feel with me, you have an emotional reaction, this allows the information to be connected to an emotional trigger that then will allow you to retain the information and use the information. One final quote that stayed with me is that reading gives us some place to go where we have to stay where we are. Right now, you are literally on the prime of your life. You have the ability today, just by watching this video, to shift your realities. If you just pick up a book and you start the habit today. The power that these books had on me are unbelievable, and I know that the same can happen to you. And if you want to have even bigger impact on your brain, I have this playlist that can help you understand the philosophy and how to handle your emotions in order to achieve everything that you want. Before you go, like and subscribe because the algorithm is so hard on YouTube these days. And I want you to comment the book that you want to start with. Thank you for your time.